But I do want to talk about Kliff and should Kliff Kingsbury be fired? I'm a very big proponent that he should. For anyone watching who isn't familiar with me, I'm a Big 12 football fan, so I watched plenty of Kliff Kingsbury while he was at Texas Tech. A lot of my family friends went to Texas Tech. A lot of my friends went to Texas Tech. I've watched Texas Tech football plenty. And Kingsbury there with Patrick Mahomes, I think he got a lot of credit for Mahomes being all of a sudden good in the NFL. But there was just a lot of critiques about Mahomes when he was going into the league. And all of a sudden when he gets to the league, like Henry's able to figure those kind of things out. And they weren't ever really that good when Mahomes was there. And I think that's a Kliff Kingsbury thing. He's always had this issue with him being good in the first half of the season and then sucking in the second half of the season. And now all of a sudden this year they're sucking in the first half of the season. The people that have said that they should keep him have constantly told me that they've improved every single year. Well, guess what? Now they're getting worse. They started off last year so amazing, and then they were terrible and got eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. Kyler Murray looked so dejected after the game, just saying that it was the most frustrated he's been since his rookie year, and things are just so difficult. And it's just I've said it before, I don't understand how Kliff Kingsbury is able to fall upwards. Name me any other coach in the history of football that has been fired from their alma mater. The school he attended fired him, and then he became a head coach in the NFL immediately following that. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Real quick caveat, he didn't even get a head coaching job after that. He
was the offensive coordinator for
like
USC, but I think that was mainly
so he didn't even
the timing of it.
It wasn't even a lateral movement, though.
Yeah, I mean, he got a worse job, but then like I think that was just the timing of it, that like the Cardinals hadn't fired their head coach at the time, so they weren't interviewing people like him yet. And so I don't think, it just shows like he didn't expect to get a head coaching offer, so he just took a job, which USC offense coordinator, that's a great job. But, anyway, the point stands of like, how do you fall upwards? That's literally Kliff Kingsbury's entire career. The route trees have been pitiful. The play calling is just not that good. And as you said, they just played Seattle, who was they were giving up over 30 points a game coming into this game. They allowed 9 to an offense featuring Kyler Murray, Hollywood Brown, Rondale Moore. Like there is Zach Ertz, there is talent on this offense. And so I don't care that DeAndre Hopkins is suspended. There's still a talented offense that is way more talented than a defense being head up by like Jordan Brooks and Tariq Woolen and all these guys. And shout out to them because like they're playing well. So it's no shot at them. But like I said, they're giving up 30 points a game. So there's just no excuse. I've been saying it for years. I don't think Kliff Kingsbury was the right hire in that moment, and there's never been a point that I feel like he's proven me wrong, and all of a sudden everybody else is getting on the train, but guess what? They just extended him and the GM. Fire Kliff Kingsbury, Arizona. You're wasting Kyler Murray's young years when you could be competing potentially for championships if you had some better decision-making.
Hey, well, I just want to note that I've been second in command here in regards to the Fire Kliff train. We've both been here, but I don't have much else to add. I mean, they don't run the ball. They can't run the ball, which is fine. I mean, the Bills don't run the ball, but we see the Bills, yes, their expertise is passing, and they do it darn well. They move the ball every game and every which way, and there's just no excuse to. And they've gone through 2 different offensive coordinators, Brian Daboll, and then he moved. Now we're seeing their new OC. It's still, pretty much business as usual over there. And meanwhile, in Arizona, it just hasn't translated. And I think it's time to move on, especially if Kyler's the guy. I think you got to move on. And they have too much talent. It's unfortunate they traded for Hollywood Brown. He gets hurt. Even then, that trade I felt was a little overpriced because they traded their first round pick and granted, I know AJ Brown. I'm comparing it kind of to the AJ Brown trade because he got traded for the first rounder. Granted, it was mainly because Philly was ready to extend him, but I'm just I forget they have a separate GM, right? Right, because it was both Kliff and the GM both got extended.
Steve Keim is their GM.
Steve Keim.
A lot of people make fun.
I'm just saying too, Steve Keim, he survived the previous head coach too. I was surprised he didn't get fired then. He probably should have because, Kyler Murray first overall, that kind of fell in your lap. Isaiah Simmons, it took them a while to figure, but even late in the draft, second, third, fourth round guys, they haven't really been hitting on those picks. I mean, like I said, yes, they hit on Kyler, jury's still out on Zaven and Isaiah, but otherwise, like those second, third, fourth round guys, those are the key pieces. Those are like, some of your key depth guys. They got guys like Akeem Butler, Andy Isabella, both those wide receivers gone. And Byron Murphy, he's been all right, but other than that, like I just haven't been impressed by what they've done. And then free agency wise, I mean, no offense, they weren't the only team, but gave a lot of money to JJ Watt. And unfortunately, I mean, they kind of should have seen towards the latter years in Houston, very injury prone, as he got older, and he's still dealing with injuries now. So he's not the same difference maker, but they ponied up and gave him a lot of money. So I think audition with Kliff, Steve Kimes needs to be looked at as well. Thanks for watching this clip from the Shut Up and Ball podcast. If you want to see more weekly NFL and NBA content, click the subscribe button, like the video, and if you want to see the full episode this clip came from, go ahead and click here.